What is up, KOAY family? Welcome back to the Jaby KOAY channel. I'm ACHARA KIRK, joined by SYNTELL KOAY.
What's cracking, baby?
And we are finally here, part 3 of Queen. If you guys haven't already, please do subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon, all notifications so you know whenever we drop a new video, and upvote this video if you are enjoying what you're watching. So this is going to be a cut down. If you're here at part 3, I reckon you probably already knew that, but I do have to tell you, just in case you're new, maybe you want to go watch part 1 and 2. I do suggest it, and then come back and watch part 3. This is gonna be cut down into little chunks because we can't show the entire movie here on YouTube because that would be piracy, and that is bad. If you want to watch the whole thing along with us, uncut, uninterrupted, you can do that on our Patreon page, patreon.com/JabyKOAY, and we also have that here on YouTube as well, YouTube memberships. So there are 2 places where you can watch the full-length reaction of this movie. You will need to have your own copy of the film to show in a separate window or on a separate device, and we will help you guys with syncing so you can stay in sync with us as we watch this movie together. And it's like you're watching it with your 2 favorite palsies from the interwebs. All right, you guys, without further ado, let's get into part 3.
It's good, no? Ah.
Oh, is that the wedding invite?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You understand?
It's okay.
I wonder if the fact that she's wearing that Alice in Wonderland top is like symbolic of her great adventure.
Right?
Yeah, right?
Look, she's got her arms out.
Whoa!
रानी, I know मुझसे गलती हो गई, and I'm really sorry. तुम्हें पता है घर पे सब मुझसे नाराज हैं, और कितनी मॉडर्न हो गई तुम देखो. नहीं मतलब मुझे इस पे कोई इंटरेस्ट नहीं है, मैं इसे कह रहा हूँ. रानी मुझे बस तुम चाहिए हो यार. I really love you यार.
But why did you break it off in the first place, dude?
ऐसे थोड़ी एकदम से ऐसे सब खत्म हो जाता है. And obviously तुम्हारा fiancé हूँ मैं यार. मैं नहीं करूँगा तो कौन करेगा? और जो भी खर्चा बर्चा होना वो सब पापा देख लेंगे. तुम्हारी तरफ से भी तो सब हुआ था ना. मुझे पता है यार, तुम भी मेरे बिना नहीं रह पाओगी.
False. She was actually very happy without you.
मैं पागलों की तरह तुम्हें सब जगह ढूंढ रहा हूँ यार.
तो लेकिन मेरा रॉक शो का तो प्लान बहुत पहले का था ना.
ये क्या कर रही हो यार तुम?
प्लीज मैं आपको वहीं पे मिलूंगी. भाई मुझे देर हो रही है.
Okay. I support this choice.
कहाँ जाएगी? सभी तो कहीं से आ रहे हैं ना, देख लो.
प्लेन उतर गया उसका?
हाँ उतर गया कब का ना, तभी तो लोग निकल रहे हैं ना.
Oh, look at her.
Look at the
but,
confidence in the stroll.
Yeah, the way she's coming out is completely different from the way she walked in. She's like,
Yeah.
I got this.
मम्मी, ये देखो, ये मैंने बताया था ना, विजय लक्ष्मी जो आपसे स्काइप पे बात करती थी, सेम लड़की वही है.
Dad, eyes on the road.
Look.
ये 3 लड़के ना मेरे दोस्त हैं. हम लोग बहुत अच्छे फ्रेंड्स बन गए. हम लोग सारा दिन साथ में घूमते थे.
ये कुर्ता? ये तो तूने यहाँ नहीं लिया.
मम्मी, ये मैंने एम्स्टर्डम में लिया है. मेरी नहीं लिया, पता है?
वाह.
मुझे ना विजय के घर से.
दीदी मुझे भी दिखाओ. मैं स्कूल में भी दिखाऊंगा.
Oh, they're all like, I can't believe you made friends with boys.
अच्छा, हम वेट करें?
आप जाइए. मैं यूं गई और यूं आई. अरे हम रुक जाते हैं ना. अकेली कैसे आएगी ये? चिंटू को साथ रख लेती.
अरे सारी दुनिया घूम के आई है वो.
Yeah, that's right.
कितनी बदल गई है. बाल भी स्ट्रेट कर लेते हैं. ईगल है. डीप नेक शेक. पता है क्या? जब तुम अचानक गायब हो गई थी ना, हम लोग ना बहुत परेशान हो गए थे. तुम बिना बताए चली गई थी.
लेकिन फोन तो एक भी नहीं किया आपने.
Oh.
पता है क्या? जब ये लोग दोनों ऑफिस चले जाया करेंगे ना, हम दोनों माँ बेटी खूब ऐश करेंगे. सुबह सुबह चाय पीना, मैगजीन पढ़ना, पार्लर जाना, पिक्चर देखना. काम करना, तुम मेरी किट्टी ज्वाइन कर लेना. बहुत मजा आना.
It's a kitty party.
I don't know what that is.
No, Rani. Please don't do this, Rani. I love you, Rani.
Thank you.
Aww.
Yes.
Yeah, you
Ever
messed
since
up,
of that.
dude. Aww.
Yeah, that was good.
That was really, really sweet.
Yeah, that was fun.
Hold on, let me turn it off. Aww. I really, really enjoyed that movie.
Right?
It was like really, really feel good, really positive.
Yes.
I mean, I can definitely see why after watching English Vinglish, people were like, you need to watch this movie because it's kind of in a similar vein. It's like woman goes on a spiritual and physical journey, discovers who she is, has lots of fun, makes lots of new friends in the meantime. Very, very lovely. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, all of that, everything you just said, it's just an awakening, right? It's getting in touch with parts of yourself that you haven't, had the opportunity to meet. And sometimes you need something to kind of like motivate that, right?
Yeah.
And one of the best ways to do that is traveling. If you are able to travel, I highly recommend it because it forces you out of your comfort zone and makes you, make decisions that you may not have normally made or see the world in a different space, and you grow and expand upon everything else. This was just nice. It's just one of those things that makes me want to be like, man, I need to book a trip somewhere.
I know. And like, it really reminds me of the one Euro trip I did with my younger sister, my best friend, and her younger sister, and we're all super close. So it was like 4 girls on a trip around Europe, and we hit Paris, we hit Amsterdam, and then I came back and they went to Italy. But it is all of those things, especially, when you're staying in a hostel like that, where you are meeting lots of other travelers. And I didn't really do that much. Like I said, horrendous experience with that one hostel we stayed at where we all were going to take a shower because it's those like communal showers, and we go in and like there's a puddle of puke inside the shower, and we were just like, yeah, that's cool. Not really feeling that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a lot of no bueno.
Yeah, so we were just like, we'll just stay at like 1-star hotels going forward. Slightly better. But, it is, like you say, traveling is a really great experience because, you're meeting lots of people, going outside of your comfort zone, maybe doing things that you never expected that you would do. And so, yeah, if anyone watching this is considering traveling, even by yourself, I haven't really done a solo trip, and I kind of wish that I had. There is still time.
Yes, I was about to say, there's plenty of time.
Yeah.
You can absolutely do that. Yeah.
It's like, it's both terrifying and exciting at the same time. And I can kind of put myself in Rani's shoes. And I thought that Kangana did like an amazing job because from the beginning, like just how her character was, she was so reserved. Like even just her body language, it was like really small and closed off and shy. And then as she goes on her journey, you just see her kind of come out of her shell and fully own who she is and be like, yeah, I am that kind of like slightly wild, crazy girl. I love to dance and like I have a good time with my friends. I drink and whatever. But she's still, a really sweet person at her heart. But she comes back and she's so much more confident. It's such a joy to watch.
Yes, I agree. You said something that was really poignant, and I totally missed it. And you had made an Alice in Wonderland reference. When Alice goes down the rabbit hole, and her world is turned, twist upside down, and she meets these very unique people on her path, through Wonderland, and you do get that feeling with her as we're taking these steps with Ronnie. There's just some really awkward moments. You feel that awkwardness with her, especially, considering, where she's from and where she's currently at. There's a, what's the word I'm looking for? Some disjointedness regarding like your comfort, right? And you feel that with her, and this actress did a really good job, because for a while I got used to seeing Ronnie as how she was when it started. And then I love that they didn't just do this completely, I'm just gonna do how everybody else is doing and then just forget the old person. It was very, very gradual, and I respect that. I'm glad that they did it that way, because even when she meets somebody that is the exact polar opposite of her in the other VJ, she is so polarly different. A part of me wanted to be like, yeah, you should be like that, just throw all caution to the wind and then just, go ham, just, put your foot on the gas pedal and go all in. And she didn't. She still maintained who she was, but she was willing to at least be in the space where all this craziness, well, at least for her, was happening. And then you just see the small gradual changes, and she still kept the essence of who she was, the heart of who she was. She just added more to that. So she didn't like lose herself in the trip. And that could have easily happened, but it didn't, she just got stronger as a result of it.
Yeah, and I think that was a good thing as well, because I don't think it would have been completely believable for her to just suddenly be like, woo, yeah, let me just like take off my bra and like, wear a short skirt and just like dance on the table or whatever. She still danced on the table, but she was, wearing her outfit and everything, and she was still true to herself. And it was more of a self-discovery, because she had been that person, she was that person who loved having a good time, and it was just, her Vijay telling her that she shouldn't do that, or that she, shouldn't have aspirations to work outside the home and all of that. And because she thought that she loved him, or I guess she did love him, she thought that she had to give up parts of herself in order to make him happy. And I don't think that you should have to give up who you are in order to make another person feel comfortable, especially if that other person is someone who you're going to share the rest of your life with. They ought to accept you for who you are completely.
We did talk briefly regarding the other previous movie they had watched together. I can't think of the name.
English,
right? And there's this thing. There's an attraction when somebody is growing and finding themselves. There's like this law of attraction kind of thing that kind of happens, and you want to be in that space. You're just drawn to it. And a lot of times when somebody is stuck and they can't seem to figure out where they're going to go, it does kind of like the opposite. It can repel, and especially for people that don't necessarily love you, and they may not see your whole you. And until you start growing and becoming independent and being your own person, then that attraction kind of comes, and you just start, you're like a light to moths.
Yeah.
And people just start coming in, they start seeing you. But that doesn't happen until, you take those steps, right? So in the beginning of this, it's flipped. The story is actually flipped, because VJ, the one that she was going to marry, her fiance, he said, I have grown and you're still the same.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want to be in that space anymore because he thinks that he's above that. I don't know if that's true or not, but it took that for her to be like, okay, let me go do me, regardless of what you're doing, because you absolutely hurt me. I'm going to go and do my own thing. And she did that, and then that attraction started happening.
Yeah.
The glow started happening. People started coming around, and then all it took was one picture, and he could see the light in her in the picture.
Yeah.
Even though it was an accidental thing, it was like, wow, that's different.
Yeah.
Okay. And the curiosity starts, and then she's like doing her own thing and not like rushing back to the phone to be that old person that she was, because she's doing her own thing. And then it's just like, I gotta have her. I want to see what she's doing. I want her to know that I kind of messed up, but she's not the same person anymore. Just like you weren't the same person when you left, she's no longer the same person now that she's grown. And you got to be careful, because if you're not on the same journey with some people, sometimes you'll grow in different directions and on a path that other person may not want you to walk down that path with you, because they've grown. So like what he did to her, she in a sense kind of flipped it, and she's like, well, I've kind of outgrown where me and you are right now.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do this. And that's why she thanked him. She was like, thank you for putting me in this position so I can find a better me, find other options, and expand, what I'm destined to become. It wasn't mean or no vitriol or no hatred. It's just thank you for forcing this on me.
Yeah,
You know,
I
so-
really appreciated that ending as well because it kept it on a positive note because, you know, she ended it on gratitude, which is basically what her grandmother was kind of trying to tell her since the beginning. It's like, it seems like a tragedy right now, but later on you'll realize that this was the best thing for you. And I think it's so important to remember those things in life because a lot of hardships could happen to you, right? And in the moment, you're probably feeling like, why me? This really sucks. I'm so unhappy. But if you give yourself the opportunity to get out on the other side, then perhaps maybe at some point in the future when you've like completed your healing journey and like put the pieces of yourself back together again, you can be like, you know what, I'm thankful for that awful experience because it made me who I am today and I'm so much better off without it. And I love that she had the fortitude, the strength, because that's so hard to return an engagement ring to someone and be like, no, that's okay. And she did it in a really nice way because when he was doing it, he was a real asshole about it.
Yes.
You know, like
Yes, he was.
He did it in a public place, in a cafe, and then he berated her for having emotions. And it was like really embarrassing. It's not like he came to her house and sat her down and answered all her questions or whatever. You know, he was a real dick about it.
Yes.
And then she comes and she's very, you know, she's nice. She comes to his home. She's very brave. And then she's just like, no, this isn't for me. And, you know, thank you. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
walks away.
yeah. I think there was like a golden nugget too, and I'm glad that they threw this in there, and I didn't realize I needed it until it was in front of me. And that is Taka's experience.
Yeah.
And Taka's experience, you know, I hate to be like the pain Olympics and measure somebody's pain, but to me, and how I interpreted his pain far exceeded hers because he lost everything.
Yeah.
His family, his home, his job, he lost everything. And you still see him dancing and having fun and, you know, living the life as best as he can with the help of his friends that he's made. And he had his moment, you know, where he's grieving because he is grieving. Just because you're healing doesn't mean the grieving stops.
Yeah.
You know, he's still grieving, but he's still also, you know, moving forward.
Yeah.
You know, taking time to grieve and still moving forward. And I think I needed that as much as Ronnie did as well, because her issue is a bad situation. It's a terrible situation, but it's not as bad as Taka's.
Yeah.
Taka's was a whole other level of loss. So I think it helped her in a sense, and me as the viewer, to kind of like balance things out and be like, okay, I needed that perspective to even help me get over this difficult time right now, because it could be something else.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
know, it could easily be something different that you're trying to get over. And you see how something is horrible that what Taka is going through, and you see how he's handling it. And if he can handle it in that manner for such a horrible thing, then I have the strength to handle this thing.
Yeah, 100%. And what I really enjoyed about the movie as well was, even though it's called Queen and we know that it's about Rani and her journey, I thought that the cast of supporting characters was so interesting. Like right from the bat, you know, with Vijay Lakshmi, she was just such a cool character, and to kind of be almost like that archetypal sage, like we said that Amitabh Bachchan was kind of like in English when he comes in and kind of shows her the way. Like
Right.
she's this
Yes.
hippy dippy spirit guide almost, who's come in and is
Right.
like, here, like, we'll have some fun. And she's totally different from her and shows her like another side of life, another way to be, and helps her kind of maybe bring a little bit of that out in her. And then when she gets to Amsterdam and meets those boys, it's like another amazing experience, just through the eyes of these supporting characters who are equally important to her growth. And like, they did such a great job with making us care about them, because they were all just really cool, you know, like they all had their little individual stories. Obviously Taka's was super interesting as well. And even with Roxette, who she met at the red light district, I was kind of like, oh, you know, that's kind of different to, I guess, to take a Desi woman, right? And who, at least how I see them in the portrayal like in their portrayal in movies and shows that I watch. Like generally the Desi woman is very, you know, conservative and cares about how people see her. And then here she's like a modern woman who is, you know, for all intents and purposes, she's selling her body. But in Amsterdam, it's totally illegal. It's all above board. It's regulated. And she's like, listen, like I make a lot of money and I can support my family. And what I love about it is that Rani didn't judge her really. Like, I mean, she's kind of like, oh, okay, you know, this is kind of weird. But, you know, oh, okay, like you're a good person too. We can party. And like, I liked that there wasn't this air of like a lot of judgment. You know, it was just like, okay, well, that's a different way of doing things. And like, we can still be friends. And I thought that was really nice.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, there's just a lot of like your non-typical women as far as like a conservative viewpoint is considered. And there was a tone that was kind of set early on in the beginning with the grandmother telling her story about how she met her husband.
Yeah.
And how he met in a refugee camp. And then it was a different path than what she originally thought. You know, she was with somebody else, right?
Yeah. She had a boyfriend.
She had a boyfriend, thought the world of him. That didn't pan out, and then she ends up meeting her husband in an unlikely situation, right? And then they move forward. So that kind of like set the tone with somebody that's an old elder telling you that, you know, life's gonna change up on you. You know, whatever it is you think you're doing, life's probably got another plan for you, right?
Yeah.
To me, it was like the throughput of the storyline, and we got a chance to see how like life can reward you too if you're willing to take a chance. And we saw that in one of the more unlikelier characters with the Italian.
Oh yeah.
With the Italian restaurant owner. Now, before we knew he owned a restaurant, he just owned like a little touristy spot to, you know, do like, I guess, small meals, like, you know, like a brunch or something like that. And he was insulted, actually. You know, the first time they meet, she actually like insults him to the point that she gets embarrassed and like leaves off. And you don't think that encounter is going to like grow fruit. Is going to grow fruit later on, right? And then he comes back. Because of that encounter, you know, they kind of like make amends, and then he gives her a chance to do something brave.
Yeah.
You know, I think in me personally, just in my own life, when there's always a chance to do something brave, I try to pay attention if I can. And then I try to like muster up the strength to do the brave thing that this brave encounter is encouraging me to do. And she took the leap.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but I thought it was going to be, you know, back to the small little deli spot. You know, maybe she'll make, you know, some sandwiches or something and make it kind of small, and then she can kind of like gain her confidence from that. But no, it's not that. It's a full blown big ass restaurant for a huge, massive event with people that got money and power and influence, and she's put to task, and she's like, okay, well then let's do this. It's a big thing that seems like you can't do it. She calls for help.
Yeah.
Help comes. Her friends are there to help her out. Like, even when you're in these positions, when life is going to put you on a different path and you have to step up and be brave, life also helps you in the most random ways that you don't really even see coming. And even when you think it fails, and when she thought it failed because the stuff was too spicy and nobody really gave it a chance, life will still reward you if you keep at it. People came around, liked it. There was a line that came from it. It's not even, and the thing is, that's not even necessarily what she has to do. She didn't have to become a chef or own a restaurant. It's just for the simple fact that she took the chance and you've been rewarded. Now you know that you can do that. It just adds one more notch to your courage belt. You know, it gives you more courage to do whatever the next thing is going to be, and you're not as fearful of the unknown. So I just thought that was such a treat that the Italian store owner just added such, I thought, a necessary piece to her journey.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And he was kind of fun as well, with like the aggressive flirting, and then having her first kiss too, you know, like she took a leap right there. And kissed him, and he was just like, oh my God. Is that your first kiss? Wow. I mean, I don't know if anyone's first kiss is super good. I don't know. I think you got to practice that stuff. So you like get it out of the way, and then you can get better at it. But yeah, overall, I mean, this was really fun. I thought it was really, really whimsical as well. Like getting to see the sights of Europe, Paris, and in Amsterdam, and I loved the music as well. Like They did a really great job with the music, didn't they? Like, it was all perfectly matched to whatever emotions were going on. And, like, the lyrics were deep as well. Like, I love the main song for this movie, the one that they had at the end credits as well. And the one where she was dancing in the club and she's dancing on the table. But, like, if you read the lyrics, it's all about a woman who's saying, like, oh, you know, everybody's drinking, but if I have a drink, then it's bad, basically, is what the song was saying. And I'm like, yeah, you know, like, a lot of the time people can be out there trying to tell women, like, what to do, or like have double standards and be like, oh, it's all right for the guys to drink and party, but like, oh, if you do, you're ruined, you're a bad girl or whatever. And it's just like, no, I'm just out here having fun, you know? And that's what she was doing. She went on her journey and she discovered her fun and her joy and all of those amazing things that she already had to begin with. And she just needed to let it out. So, yeah, this is great. I loved it. It was just like a really, really fun movie overall. Yeah. So, yeah, thanks for the recommendation, guys.
Excellent. More, please. More,
yeah. Suggest any more movies you would like us to watch. They don't all have to be in this vein of, like, you know, self-discovery and all that, which is, I mean, if you do have more suggestions like this, that's great. But like anything else that you think we would enjoy watching, do let us know in the comments below. And thank you so much for joining us for these reactions, for this watch along. So yeah, subscribe if you haven't done so already. Click the bell icon, all notifications, so you know whenever we drop a new video, and upvote this video if you enjoyed what you watched. And we will catch you next time. I'm ACHARA KIRK. This is...
Hey, it's your boy SYNTELL.
Ciao.